Morale is low for Democrats, as many are losing hope for Joe Biden in 2024. Biden is rocking just 64% when asked if Democrats would prefer a nominee other than him. The Wall Street Journal says Joe Biden's presidency is sinking. As for successors, the paper adds California Governor Gavin Newsom and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker are emerging as potential alternatives. At least they're elevating themselves to that. And Pritzker's recent visit comes after Newsom launched a six-figure campaign in Florida. So Pritzker is also down in Florida, trying to talk with voters down there. Attacking Governor DeSantis and urging Floridians to move to California is what the Dems are doing. Take a listen.
I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight. Or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to choose, freedom from hate, and the freedom to love. Don't let them take your freedom.
Newt Gingrich, a Fox News political analyst and former Speaker of the House, is with us. Newt, first of all, how rare is it that you see, and we've seen it in the Republican Party. We saw it when Reagan went against Ford, right? So you'll see somebody incumbent, and then somebody will come in their own party. But this seems rare that governors would be taking somebody on this early in multiple numbers.
Well, I mean, you haven't had a president this weak, this early, and Biden is sort of setting a record for that. The 9.1% inflation rate number by itself would drive Democrats and all Americans to think you needed change. The price of gasoline, the price of food. Apparently, eggs have gone up 33% in the last year. All this stuff creates an environment, and plus, you just watch Biden, and he's not going to win a second term. People are not going to watch him shuffling around, cognitively confused, not sure where he's standing, asking people what he's supposed to be doing. It's getting worse, not better. And with Kamala Harris's laugh, she's not really a plausible replacement. So there's going to be a vacuum. It's going to get worse pretty fast, and people are going to want to fill it. I mean, the only warning I have for all of us who get involved in trying to analyze politics is if we'd had this conversation in 2014, and I had said to you, oh, I know it's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to come down that long escalator, beat 15 other Republicans, win the nomination, and beat Hillary Clinton. You'd have thought I was crazy because he was such an outsider. He didn't fit anybody's normal conversation. And I think the primary conversation back then was probably Jeb Bush, maybe John Kasich, and so forth. Chris Christie, and so forth. So I'm going to go way out on a limb on the same pattern. And suggest to you that with the amazing success of Top Gun Maverick, we may have found the most likely outsider nominee,
Tom Cruise,
for 2024. Now, whether the Democrats could tolerate a pro-American, pro-defense, pro-action figure person like Tom Cruise, I don't know. But my guess is that he would beat Gavin Newsom in a primary in a heartbeat. There's a certain chutzpah to Newsom suggesting to Floridians that they ought to be more like California. When you look at the homeless, you look at the feces on the street in San Francisco, you look at the crime rate, by every measurable standard, Florida is now a better place to live, as is Texas than California.
Newt, let me just step in there for a second.
Just whistling past the graveyard.
Because I want to get in there. And by the way, just about every woman in America might rather have a poster of Tom Cruise than many of the other people who might run. But that's neither here nor there. So you're talking about Florida. Gavin Newsom spending all kinds of cash on ads inside Florida. Come back, bring the U-Hauls back to California. But you've got Pritzker now. And, with his recent commitment to headline the Florida Democrats' annual gala this weekend, that's an interesting development. I mean, clearly, Democrats on the other side of the aisle are looking at that governor down there. And how will even Pritzker of Illinois, governor since 2019, and you can see some details on the screen there. His family owns the Hyatt hotel chain. So another businessman. How does he match up?
Well, here's the same problem. First of all, you have the crime rate in Chicago, which is
Well, there you go.
horrendous. You have a tax policy which has driven several of the biggest corporations in Illinois to leave the state. I mean, the problem the Democrats have is that all of the big blue states run by Democrats have very high crime rates, very high tax rates, very high unemployment rates. It's no accident that virtually all the states, this is something Steve Moore has pointed out again and again in his newsletter, almost all of the red states are doing dramatically better than almost all of the blue states. So how do they run for president saying, I'll do for you what I did for Illinois? You too can have high taxes, unemployment, and crime. And that's what Pritzker's problem will be.
We recently reported that coming out of the pandemic, just economically, so just one category of how those red states are doing better than blue states, I mean, that they are doing so much better that you do have what I'm starting to call the U-Haul migration. And that is that people are leaving. And I'm not kidding about this. I mean, there was a complaint that there were U-Hauls ending up, from Arizona all the way to Florida and leaving California. So it is an interesting migration of money, of citizenry, all of it. Your last thought on that, and then I have to talk about your book.
Well, I mean, the fact is, there's a price differential. If you take a vehicle from California to Utah, you have a big fee because there's so many going. On the other hand, if you want to take a U-Haul from Idaho or Utah to California, there's a very low fee because nobody's doing it. And I think that's a very useful indicator is a U-Haul index. And you see it in Florida, for example, and it's a tribute not just to DeSantis, but to Rick Scott and a whole generation going back to Jeb Bush. Florida is so well run that they're getting 3,000 new people a day moving in.
That's a lot.
That's hardly an argument against the kind of leadership that Florida has produced.
And what you just said is something that Kayleigh McEnany and I have talked about, the legacy of leadership and what they've had going on in Florida. This isn't just a quick thing, and it's not going away. It really is a way of life. She lives there. She's told me that many times. All right,
I think there's a Florida conservative culture. It's work-oriented. It's low taxes. It's practical government. It's patriotic education. It's very strong against crime. And it creates a quality of life that's amazing. California has all of the weather opportunities that Florida has, but it has terrible government. The whole point of my book on defeating big government socialism is there's no better example of big government socialism than Sacramento, California. And what they produce is human feces on the street, syringes all over the place. You just had Starbucks announce that there are 16 sites they're closing because they can't cope with the number of needles that they're getting in their bathrooms. Now, you're seeing the decay of civilization in places like Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco and Los Angeles. And you're seeing people aggressively defend civilization in places like Texas and Florida.
We kept the title of the book up, Defeating Big Government Socialism. You gave us some examples there. Newt Gingrich, thank you very much for being with me.
Glad to be with you.